Welcome to my review of what's Atelier Phase 1 Fundamentals. If you missed the first video, the purpose of this channel is that I'm working through a long list of art courses, trying them out and then reviewing them so you know if they're worth your money, and I learn faster by teaching you. I have actually taken a few What's courses before, but after burning out, I'm redoing all of them from scratch to properly refresh my memory. Phase 1 Fundamentals is an introduction to how What's Atelier trains you. The main tools used are a charcoal pencil sharpened like a blade and large sheets of newsprint paper. You don't have to train this way, but it's very cost effective as you get a huge amount of drawing done for very little money, and you can get the full range of values out of a single pencil. It's also a great long-term investment because the way the charcoal pencil behaves, going broader or thinner depending on pressure and angle, mirrors how a paintbrush works. So training this way bleeds into the skills you need for painting later on. But before you get into any actual drawing, Jeff Watts, the founder of the Atelier, takes you through the philosophy and background of the school. Before I burnt out, Jeff was one of my biggest sources of inspiration I had. He's an absolutely incredible artist, but what really sets him apart is how well he talks while drawing. His ability to articulate the concept he's demonstrating is something I've never seen before. Something else he does is read excerpts from The Art Spirit by Robert Henri. I find it to be very motivating to listen to. One thing he said that stuck with me is that artists and designers are some of the most important people in the world. The first time you hear something like that, you kind of roll your eyes. A painter isn't more important than a surgeon or an engineer, but then he explains that everything around you is designed. The car you drive, the building you work in, the logos all around you, the devices you use, the characters from stories that moved you, the games you spent years playing, all of it needed someone to create it. It's a small shift in perspective, but it genuinely keeps you going during the hard times. Moving on from Jeff, the materials needed for this phase are some Conte 1710Bs, a single-sided blade, a kneaded eraser, a sandpaper block, some clips, and smooth newsprint. Being from the UK, all of this is easy enough to find. I get the newsprint as large sheets from Jackson's Art and cut them in half. Everything else is easily found online. I also ordered a large piece of wood board to clip the paper to, which I just rest on my lap with the laptop or iPad in front of me with the reference image that I'm working from. It's a really comfortable setup for longer sessions. After gathering the materials, one of the first exercises that Jeff teaches is sharpening the pencil. You hold it in one hand and the blade in the other and slowly chip away at the wood while rotating the pencil until you've exposed a good length of charcoal. From there, you can use the sandpaper block to shape the tip. I personally like the 100 grit, but try a few and see which works best for you. Now that sounds fine until... yeah, they break a lot. Sometimes no matter how gentle you are with them, they just go. When it does snap, just expose a shorter length of charcoal and keep going. Also worth knowing, sometimes these pencils have a small stone inside them that scrapes against your paper. If that happens, there's not much you can do except draw around it, so try not to let it get to you. The next concept that he teaches is drawing from your shoulder. When I first heard this, I thought you had to lock your wrist and elbow completely and move only from the shoulder, which felt insane. Turns out I was an idiot. The Watts method is actually pretty flexible. Holding the pencil with an under grip, you can move from the shoulder, elbow and wrist together for broader strokes, or flip the pencil and draw from the wrist for finer detail. Artists like David Finch draw almost entirely from the wrist and are absolutely incredible, so fundamentally do whatever works for you. I enjoy using both. Before every drawing session, Jeff recommends a 10-minute warm-up page. I usually just draw random horizontal lines, vertical lines, and ovals. All three are really hard with this method, so doing it over and over again helps practice it. It's also worth practicing laying smooth values with the side of the pencil, and one thing that took me a while to figure out is that you have to subtly rotate the pencil against the paper every few strokes, similar to how you rotate it when sharpening. This keeps the tip from going flat because the newsprint itself acts like sandpaper. After warming up, you jump straight into drawing, where we learn values and edges. Values are basically how light or dark an area is. For example, a cube has 3 distinct values that tell you which direction the light is coming from, and hard edges because its corners are very sharp. A sphere has soft edges, the shadow gradients are smooth because there are no sharp turns, and a cylinder has both, soft gradients around the body and hard edges at the top. There are also firm edges, which sit somewhere in between hard and soft, and lost edges where the edge disappears entirely, but you don't find many of these in the simple forms, which is what Jeff gets us to draw to practice how to use the charcoal pencil. I drew the cube and cone in charcoal, but I decided to mix things up a bit and did the sphere in ballpoint and the cylinder digitally in Procreate. Looking back, I should have done all the shapes in charcoal to shake the rust off properly, but it's alright. The cube came out okay. A little wonky, but the construction is straightforward once you use the pencil to check the angles against your reference and triangulate the distances with diagonals. I wasn't completely happy with the rendering of the cone, but old me would have redrawn it 15 times until it was perfect, and I'm trying not to burn myself out again, so I moved on. The ballpoint sphere was probably a mistake. I love ballpoint for sketching, but I've never actually rendered with it, so it came out a bit rough. For the future, I'll just need to spend more time practicing how to render in ballpoint first. The digital cylinder was fun and slightly more forgiving, so I found it quite relaxing to work on. Side note for future videos, do you prefer seeing the iPad screen and Apple Pencil while I draw, or a screen recording? I can do either, so just let me know in the comments which of the two you prefer. After every course I do, I'm going to give myself an extra task. For this course, it was to draw a group of simple shapes together from reference, then cover both the reference and my drawing and redraw them from memory. The goal is to eventually be able to invent lighting from imagination, which is something I find very difficult. One small thing I learned while doing this is that if a cylinder is sitting on top of a box and light hits it, the cast shadow from the cylinder doesn't travel down the side of the box. I assumed it did, but it doesn't. Anyway, to sum up, What's Fundamentals Phase 1 is a great introduction to traditional drawing and how the school teaches you to go from a newbie to a pro. I've worked through quite a bit of the online What's curriculum previously, and I think it's excellent. If you're looking to get into traditional art or art in general, I'd highly recommend it. That's it for this video. Next up, I'll be reviewing Proco's figure drawing fundamentals, so if you'd like to see a review on that or have enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to incorporate it. Take care.